What's up, y'all? So today I'm going to be talking about how to detangle your hair in the most effective way so that you can have the least amount of shedding and breakage on wash day. My name is Okweokolie. I'm the owner of transformedbyo hair salon, and I specialize in natural hair care maintenance and natural hair extensions. So first you have to figure out, where are you starting? Are you coming out of braids? Have you had your hair in something for 2 to 3 months? Are you coming out of a wash and go that you've had in for a week? Are you keeping up with your weekly shampoos? Those are some of the factors that are going to determine how you should approach detangling your hair. So first, let's start with the person who might have come out of braids or a particular style that they've had in for a long time, maybe a sew-in. I would start with detangling your hair actually with an oil. I think avocado oil is a good place to start, or any oil that you are used to that you feel like has good slip. So the reason I say an oil is because if you put water or anything liquidy on your hair after having all that dirt and buildup in your hair, it is going to lock up and make it very difficult, and sometimes become quite gummy, make it very difficult for you to detangle. And I think that will lead to you losing more hair than necessary. So one of the things you should do is, let's say you're taking out box braids. I would advise, before you even take them down, to saturate your hair and the scalp with some type of oil. Massage it in. That way the dirt can start to get broken down. And then with each braid that you take down, I would make sure to massage it so that, again, it's starting to break down the dirt clogs. And then start with honestly, with a fine tooth comb, or maybe something that's not as fine, but something that can help to break up the dirt clogs. You can also use your fingers. That is totally fine. But you do want to get all of the buildup out of each piece of hair first before you add any liquid or conditioning agent or high slip agent. So get all the dirt clogs out. I would do that to each individual section, and then follow that with maybe sectioning your hair, because your hair is probably the most dry it's ever been because it just came out of a style that you've had in for 2 to 3 months. And if you haven't been shampooing your hair on a bi-weekly basis with this hairstyle in, your hair is extra dry. So dry hair and dirt clogs do not make a great combo. So we definitely want to be very gentle and careful while we are doing this takedown. So after you've combed all the dirt clogs out, you want to follow that with sections, and then adding your high slip agent, which can be a conditioner, or it can be something that is designated for detangling hair. Some of the products that I've used in the past, or I use in the salon, are Aussie Moist. That is a staple. L'Oreal Revive also has some great options when it comes to conditioners. They have a lot of slip. And also, I've always used African Pride. They have something that is specifically meant for detangling hair. And those are some things you can use to create ease during your detangling session. So let's say that you shampoo your hair on a regular basis. You shampoo your hair once a week. Great regimen, by the way. That's my advice. Typically within a week, your hair may not accumulate that many tangles. So if you are regularly upkeeping your hair, you may have to do the detangle before shampoo less. As in, you may actually be able to detangle your hair while you are shampooing. I mean, and it's all in the motion. The way you scrub your hair when it comes to shampooing does matter, because yes, you want to get in there and scrub your scalp, release the dirt. But when it comes to working the shampoo down your strands, that is a time where you can use your hand motions to separate and to detangle, essentially. Of course, you're not going to detangle it the same way with a tool or with something that you're not going to rake your hands through it, but you're going to be pulling the product through and separating your hair so that it is nice and smooth. And the shampoo is also cleaning your strands. So yeah, you want to use that method whenever it comes to detangling your hair. And like I said, this is the case if you are regularly shampooing your hair and your hair is not accumulating that many tangles. But if it is, then you want to use a similar method to what I mentioned earlier when it comes to braids. You want to detangle your hair before you shampoo, get all the tangles out, because again, our hair probably accumulated a couple of tangles along the way throughout the week. So you want to detangle it, saturate your hair in water, add your conditioner or your detangling agent, detangle your hair. If you're a section person, put it in sections, shampoo it, and then follow that with your conditioner or deep conditioner. So those are some of the ways and methods that you can do to detangle your hair. Now let's talk about the tools. So one of my favorite tools right now is the unbrush. Of course, it was a social media sensation, but it is more than a sensation. It is honestly a very great tool for detangling hair. But let's not forget the holy grails and things that have always worked. Like I've always loved to use a Cricut detangling comb. I can put some of these things on screen or in the description box so that you can see what I'm talking about. Those are my staples that I've used in the salon literally for the past 9 years, and it's been great for detangling hair. So just a simple comb. I prefer to use a comb that is wide tooth, but not so wide tooth that it's not catching tangles. So that is something to consider. And again, I will show you what I'm talking about so that you see the difference between a wide tooth comb and an actual Cricut comb. And I like the comb because it's seamless and it doesn't have any ridges that can potentially get caught in the hair and cause it to snag or break or split. And another thing that I do like to use as well is a Felicia Leatherwood detangling brush, or that could be also used for curl defining. Depending on the client's hair, I might interchange. Like there are some clients where I know for sure their hair does best with the comb, or it does enough with a comb, but there are some clients where we need that unbrush. Like the unbrush is gonna get the job done. And then there are some clients where the Felicia Leatherwood brush does the job much better. I will say that the Felicia Leatherwood brush, it catches more hair at one time. And I think you might need to do smaller sections at once. If you're, let's say you were doing a whole quarter. I wouldn't do a whole quarter with the Felicia Leatherwood. I'd probably split it into half and then do that. Versus with the unbrush, I can start off my detangling with that section, with the quarter section. And I think it's simply because it has a larger surface area and the teeth are a little shorter than the Felicia Leatherwood brush. So either way, I would say if I was trying to advise you to get a comb, it would be tough because I have to see your hair. But just consider those 3 combs as an option, not combs, but those 3 tools as an option to detangle your hair. And one thing that people actually is underrated when it comes to detangling is honestly keeping your ends trimmed. If your ends are constantly catching, if you always see little pieces of split hair on the floor, on your sink, that means it's time for a trim, and likely it's causing your wash days to be more troublesome. So if you trim your hair every 3 to 4, ideally, or even every 6 months, that's twice a year, guys. I think that would be a good way to keep your ends from not only breaking constantly and catching constantly, but it will make your wash days so much easier and so much more enjoyable. And honestly, it'll make your styles look a lot better. So consider that when it comes to detangling, and I would definitely not recommend you doing it yourself. It is always best to go to a trusted professional to get your hair trimmed because they have the tools, the proper tools, and they have the knowledge to know where to cut and how to cut. And of course, partner with somebody that you trust that is not scissor happy, and something that you know has your best interests at heart when it comes to trimming your hair. But those are some things to consider whenever it comes to detangling your hair and making your wash days very pleasurable. So I would like to hear from you. What are some things that you use, or what are some tools that you use to detangle your hair that you have found to be extremely helpful for your wash day? Share it in the comments below and let us know. Let us all stay connected. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you at the next video. Bye.